What's up YouTube, Capital G here, got two explosive duels for you guys to check out. Second duel is going to be featuring two explosive decks, so you can pretty much just assume somebody's going to get OTK'd. First duel is actually going to be with the Blue Eyes Guard Dragon deck, and I kind of feel like this is a real legitimate deck. I've said in the past that I thought Guard Dragons could make basically any dragon deck pretty legitimate, even ones that are kind of maligned like Blue Eyes, and I mean nobody maligns Blue Eyes like I do, maybe even to a lesser extent something like Rockets, but I think Blue Eyes and Red Eyes can both be like legitimate decks, and we did actually see a Blue Eyes deck top regionals. I might have to do a discussion video on that if I haven't already by the time you guys see this, because Blue Eyes can make some ridiculously strong turn 1 boards, and even though the Guard Dragons allow, Thunder Dragons and Crusadia to do that as well, the thing about Blue Eyes is since you're running level 8 monsters, you have the ability to summon your Dark Matter Dragon, and that thing is just ridiculous because then you get a Morphic Goliath and all this other crap, and you get access to plays that like your normal Guard Dragon engine decks don't get to do. So you guys will see what I'm talking about. And by the way, apparently we are still out here running Brilliant Fusion, so that's a thing. When he went for the Darling Scorpio Orthos, or excuse me, Darling Cobra Ortho Scorpio play, I was like, Kappa, you already got Brilliant Fusion in your hand, what are you looking to surge? Joke's on me, he goes for the Instant Fusion because that's just another monster. It's a play extender, okay, no harm, no foul. Let's see exactly where this is going to go. Actually, well, we know it's going. Summon Sorceress, probably summon a dragon from the deck, and these are floating dragons also. Little level 1 dragons. You can bring out your Red Eyes from the deck. Ghost Spell's gonna shut that down, but you just got too many Monster Reborn, too many extenders. Goes for Sayuja Skull Dread. Most decks would need Sayuja for that, the 4 effect of drawing, but he doesn't need it for the 4 effect of drawing. He's just trying to unload more dragons out of his hand. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. Shoutouts to one of my favorite, actually probably my favorite synchro monster in the game. It's like a $50 card now, which is a shame. He then goes for number 90, I believe it is, right? Yeah, number 90. This is, you guys know how much I love this card, but that takes him to Dark Matter Dragon, and Dark Matter Dragon is just crazy because even though you don't end with the same type of negations as some of the other Guard Dragon builds do. There is not going to be any Neturia Beast or anything like that. You still are getting 2 legitimate negations on board, but in addition to that, what the real key is getting the Art Brave and the Amorphic Goliath from the graveyard, and now you can just basically domain your opponent out of the game. And let's be real, unless your opponent's playing Guru Control, like this card is kind of like a win condition. I mean, yeah, having the other negations is like super good, but if your opponent can't use the extra deck, okay, well, Thunder Dragon, Salamangreats, and Sky Striker, what are you doing? You're playing shitty beatdown deck. You don't really have access to any of your power plays. Now, luckily, the Magical Musketeer deck doesn't need it, and he tries to force out negations, but I don't know why he even negated the Twin Twister. I'm not sure it was relevant. Anyways, his opponent simply has too many negations, even with him running over the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. Well, he attempted to. You gotta remember that that the number 38 still has the effect that forces you to attack into it. So this is just one of those duels where, I mean, you can just win turn 1 because lock your opponent out of the extra deck. You get 2 Spell and Trap negates. Does have Card by the Grave, which could be useful against other decks if they do need to use their graveyard, or if they use a graveyard like effect. But yeah, the Blue Eyes guy, I believe at the regionals, pretty much did that exact play. Second duel is going to be that cheese duel we're talking about. It has Lunalights facing off against, I'm gonna just call it Synchrocentric. I don't know what to call this damn deck, honestly. It looks like an ISO deck, but it's actually like not an ISO deck. It's a little bizarre seeing Lunalights go first. I was like, what exactly do Lunalights want to make going first? Like, there's no Leo Dancer like turn 1, but he's gonna go first. Anyways, he does actually use the Fire Fist Link. Goes for some pretty good monsters and some pretty good plays, including the Bujin Kagasuchi. But also, I actually feel like, and I'm not a big fan of just throwing what I like to call big dumb beaters on the board, unless they have some type of like negation or stun a la Colossus. However, the Mech Knight Crusadia Astrum is kind of an exception, because this card is just so fucking hard to kill. You can't boil load this thing. I mean, you kind of like have to kaiju it, or, I mean, luckily, if you're playing Salamangreats, you can like fusionify it, but in general, it's just a really tough card to kind of deal with. So I'm actually okay with him summoning that turn 1, because like 95% of what's played in the meta just like can't beat it. So anyways, let's see if his opponent will be able to find a way to beat it, and I'm thinking that he will. He's going to start off with ISO, but don't worry, this is definitely going to start turning into a synchro play, well, right about now. Once he summons Power Tool Dragon, shoutouts to Leo, gets the malicious from his deck, and I think that he's looking to use DDR, obviously trying to just draw a billion more cards with Saryuja Skull Dread, even as Dark Eruption, which is nice. It gets him to Summoner Monk and then lets him summon it from the hand. And once he had the copy of the Rescue Ferret, I was like, all right, this guy is going places. At this point, I assumed, okay, I guess he's playing like a Quasar deck or something like that. Interesting how this started out as an ISO duel, but then it turned into like Quasar deck. And, you know, obviously the synchro players are like, give us Soul Charge. But even without Soul Charge, once these synchro decks start rolling, they can really roll. And I mean, this is just, by the way, if you guys this is just like why Steam the Cloak is like banned. Even outside of like link spamming, it's still just ridiculous with synchro summoning. I mean, you're just gonna see Steam the Cloak used constantly, token producing and all that other stuff. Anyways, he has the first Quasar on board, but you can see with all the extenders in his hand, Monster Reborn, DDR, all that good stuff, he's probably going to drop another Quasar, aka or maybe a Sifir Dragon, but he's not going to stop here. So he summons Sifir Dragon as well. And maybe he wants to keep going. I thought that maybe he could have kept going because he did have Monster Reborn. I was like, why not just keep on going? I think it's because he did run out of extra deck or extra monster zones. That's the only reason that I think he stopped. But anyways, he's just going to go in the battle phase. Now, the Mech Knight did get negated, but he does hit him with that bounce effect. So people have to remember that. So, you know, the Quasar Dragon was kind of a wash, but it's not really that big of a problem. He's saying, he's like, Cap-G, don't worry, baby. I got all these extenders. I'll summon Quasar once again in main phase 2. I still have my extra monster zone open again, and you can see he should be able to get Quasar back on board and ends turn. Now, personally, I think that it's pretty difficult dealing with a Quasar, but when you also have a Sifir Dragon, it's hard as well. But Lunalights is a deck that can just push through this type of board because he activates Lunalight Fusion, I believe is one of the first things, and that forces out the Quasar negate. If he did not go for Lunalight Fusion there, he would have allowed him to drop Leo Dancer, and you don't want your opponent dropping Leo Dancer, but he basically is just going to press on, summoning the Crimson Fox from his graveyard, and then he goes into Tiger King. This forces out the Sifir because if he doesn't use Tiger, or if he doesn't negate the Tiger King, then Tiger King will just negate all this guy's board. But you know what? Doesn't even matter. He has those negations. However, the Yellow Martin plus Tiger is just too good, and he's actually going to go for Leo Dancer. So he did get Leo Dancer on field, but then check this cheese out. Who even runs this? He summons Firewall Exceed Dragon, which is going to be massive. Not only is it linked up with Saryuja Skull Dread, he says, Cap, let's go ahead and bring back that Mech Knight Crusadia Astrum. His opponent does ultimately scoop. He was going to get back the Crusadia Astrum, and I believe it would have jumped another 2,000 attacks. So he was like, I'm out of here, Cap-G. He would not have been able to stop all that because Leo Dancer obviously can simply attack into Saryuja Skull Dread. It would have nuked his entire board, and then he still would have had the Mech Knight, or he still would have had the Firewall Exceed Dragon. He also would have had the Mech Knight Crusadia Astrum, and I'm not sure that this guy would have been able to kill Crusadia Astrum for a second time. But anyways, it was just kind of a nice little impressive duel. If you guys did enjoy those duels, give this video a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.